Hello everybody out there and welcome to the ToniSport Newsfeed. My name is Patrick and today I'm back with another quick video. I just attended the ETS race in the Netherlands at the last weekend. It was an amazing event, great racing, and I had a lot of fun over there. Now I'm back home and I was wrenching on my car a little bit, and I was preparing all my stuff for the next practice day. And then I got the idea in my mind to make a small video with some informations for all the racers out there who are, I would say, relatively new in our hobby and who maybe haven't attended a lot of races until now, not a big race, maybe only a small club race, or a video for all the drivers who are planning to attend at their first race in the next couple of weeks maybe. So just I want to share some information and some tips which you can use to be a little bit more relaxed on the racing day itself. Because there are quite a lot of things you can do prior to an event to prepare all your stuff a little bit better, so that you have more time for yourself and for the driving and for working on your setup when it comes down to the race day then finally. So I would say let's go. Just a few tips from me, and the first one I want to share with you is a radio tip. Whenever I plan to go to a race, I check the battery in my radio, because one thing you really don't want to have is that you are practicing on the driver's stand or maybe race a really good qualifying heat and you will hear the signal of your radio because of your battery getting lower. This is always something which is a little bit scary, because you don't know what will happen if maybe the radio will shut off completely, and you are also interrupting the race because the other drivers, they are hearing the beep sounds and nobody really likes it. So first tip from me is to check your radio battery and to charge it before you go to the race day. I always do it, and it's always good to know that you are on the safe way with the battery in your radio. So the next thing I want to talk about is the body shell and the car itself. It should be clear that you have to prepare your car prior to a racing event. So I don't want to go into detail with the car now, because I always check if everything is fine, if the drivetrain is free, if the bearings are good. I normally rebuild my shocks and the diff with some fresh oil, because in my opinion, a car with fresh oil in shocks and diffs is always driving a little bit more smooth and better. And you should check your electronics, but it's all kind of a car thing, which is not the main topic today. When you prepare a new body shell before the race, and you maybe will use a body shell which you have never used before, a different type, then you should take care and take your time when you prepare it, because something we don't want to do is wasting the first and the second battery pack on the race day with adjusting the body height and with maybe cutting the wheel arches a little bit bigger, because the body is always folding in when you are steering, or the front splitter will always scrub on the ground when you are braking. These are things you see happen on the racetrack, but they are not. It's nothing which you really need, and you can adjust it prior to the race event. A couple of months ago, I did a video with the title Body Shell Preparation, or Body Shell Mounting, I think. So if you want to know something about this process, you can watch this older video clip, and then you will know what I mean. Because it's always good to run a new body shell, and it's good that you know that the body shell will work perfectly on your car when you place it down on the racetrack and when you start your practice run. And as I said before, when it's not fitting very well on the car, you have to cut it, and you have to adjust all these things on the race day or maybe the day before. It's something which costs a lot of time and which is not necessary, and which normally the racers don't like to do. Okay, next step, I want to talk a little bit about the tires. Whenever you are going to a race, you will need race tires, and the tires, they are super important for the handling of the car. Normally the most races, they are held in a racing series where only a special brand of tires are allowed, and you can find in the rules how many sets of tires you can use at the race day. Normally, for most of the races and most of the racing classes, you can use 2 sets of new tires for qualification 1 until the end of the event. That's pretty standard, I would say. So always keep in mind, prior to the event, to order your race tires on time, because sometimes they are sold out and it's a little bit boring when you're going to a race only with old tires. Then you maybe will not have a big chance. You can prepare your tires at home a little bit before the race day, to even get yourself a little bit more time for other things on the race day. So take them out of the package, check the gluing, if the gluing is correct. If not, you have to maybe add some glue at 1 or 2 points on the tire. That sometimes can happen. And you can remove the center line on the tire prior to the racing event if you have some time at home as well. I also made a video about this process with the title, I think, Volante Tire Preparation. So if you are not knowing what I mean with removing the center line from the tire, just check out the YouTube channel, the ToniSport Newsfeed channel, and watch the video from a couple of months ago, Volante Tire Preparation. So this will also take a lot of stress and work away from you on the race day when you do it some days before. And it's not a big problem, doesn't take a lot of time, but on the race day, when you only have maybe 1 hour between the heats, which is not unusual on smaller races, sometimes it can stress you a little bit more when you have to do all this work on the race day. So then, I told you to maybe get your 2 sets of new tires for the race. And it's also very good to have a relatively good set of tires for practice when you go to the track 1 day before for some free practice. You can use your old race tires for the first battery packs on the new track. Sometimes it's good to learn the track first before you then go out with fresher tires. But when you want to have 1 or 2 rounds of practice where you want to see which lap times you really can achieve, then you should use a set of tires which is not super old. Maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4 battery packs old is not a big problem. Then you can do a serious practice run, because we all know, especially outdoors, that new tires are always faster than older ones. And you should get used to the handling of your car a little bit more with some better tires. When you're practicing indoors on carpets, it's a little bit a different story. Then you don't have to use new tires for practice, because old tires, they are working a little bit better sometimes, and then you can use the new tires in the practice to break them in for the race. So it's a little bit the opposite direction when you're going to race on carpet. But generally, I would always recommend to take care about your tires. And when you prepare them before the race, you don't have to do all these things on the main race day then. Okay, now talking a little bit about the spare parts. You always should carry some spur gears or some pinion gears with you, because they can break very easily. Only a small stone is needed to destroy a spur gear. And especially when you're racing in a stock class where a limited gear ratio is in the rules, you should try to go as close as possible to this gear ratio. I mean, it's for stock classes, a lot of times it's 4.5 or 5.0, and then you should try to hit exactly this gear ratio for the maximum performance and speed. And most of the times there are 1 or 2 combinations of gears you can use in your race car then to achieve exactly this gear ratio, and you should carry at least the same gears and pinion gears with you to maybe replace them when you have a broken gear in one of your runs. I think it's not a big problem to ask other drivers on the track, but if you are really unlucky, maybe nobody will have the gears you are needing, and then you have to go with a maybe slower gearing, and this is not a cool thing, especially when you're running in a stock class. So always check that you have enough spare parts for the drivetrain. The same maybe with the front and rear belt. It's always good to have these parts available in your spare parts box. Finally, you also should carry the most important plastic parts, suspension parts with yourself on the track. Front and rear arms, maybe a rear upright, a C-hub for left and right, and a steering block, because these plastic parts, they are sometimes easy to break depending on the track you're racing on. Some tracks, they are forgiving when you crash and others not. So always take care about your spare parts stock and check your box that you don't go to a bigger race or to something special where you maybe have to pay for a hotel room or something else, and then you maybe don't have the right steering block in your box, and sometimes you're the only guy on the track with the brand you're running, and then it's can be a little bit tricky. So what I would finally say is, all these tips in the video clip today, they are not really special. And when you prepare for a race and when you have a lot of experience, when you race for a long time, you normally will have all these things prepared and you will go to a race without any trouble and any parts issues. But if you're new and you don't know what's really going on when you go to a race, I hope that it can help you to prepare yourself a little bit better. Take it serious, take all your parts, check what you have, maybe check what you are missing, order your parts at a ToniSport shop, and always check that you have everything together right in time before the race, the tires, the body shells, and charge your battery from your transmitter, and then you are ready to rock and you can enjoy the racing a little bit more, because when everything is prepared, you will not have some stress in your mind because of maybe a part you don't have or maybe new tires you don't have, and all these things together, they will give you a better feeling. And when you're feeling better, you normally will also feel better on the driver's stand and you will perform better, your car will be better, and your overall racing experience will be better. That's the video for today. Some small tips around race organization, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. As I said before, it's a video clip for beginners and for guys who are maybe trying to get to their first race in a couple of weeks. So if one of you just watch the video and can take one tip out of it, I'm really happy. And until the next ToniSport Newsfeed, we wish you a great day. Enjoy racing and always keep in mind, race with ToniSport, you will never race alone. Goodbye, guys.